Hey guys, with updates coming to Hypixel Skyblock potentially soon, whether it be the Abyss update that as of late the community's been hyping up, Floor 5, or this fishing enchant mini leaked, which might be related to the Abyss, but we have no idea. I want to talk about how you can prepare yourself, and I want to start out with dungeons. So lately, people have been spinning the rumor mill and saying that Floor 5, Floor 6, and Floor 7 are going to be bundled together, which to me sounds really strange. I've had people come to my stream and say it, being so and so said this, so and so said that, but I don't think they would do this because that would be a lot of content at once, and it would be best for them in general just release one every couple of weeks than just giving them all at once, because what that does is just kind of makes these two floors not worth anything and people won't really run them, which ends up being just less content for, you know, other like later game players or people that want to be efficient, since the same thing happened with the first few floors. So how can you prepare for dungeons? Well, that is a tough, thing to answer in this video since it would take a long time. But essentially, it's try to find a player that kind of knows what they're doing, that plays the same class as you, whether it be mage, berserk archer, healer, whatever you're playing. Go look at the build, go look at what they're using. People do have some different builds, and you gotta realize that once you start getting higher level, you can start using the dragon items, for example, in your builds. That makes it a lot easier. So you gotta keep that in mind when you're working on dungeons, getting gear stronger. As of right now, I am a mage 26, and this is the gear I'm running. Product Shadow Dolls with adaptive and spear boots. Eventually, these are gonna be swapped out for Wise, and then I might even use Superior Set to go left click mage build. If you haven't seen Try to Clean, he uses full adaptive, going for a left click mage build, which is a lot of damage, which is really cool. But besides that, what else can you do besides getting your gear equipment based on your class? Get your levels up. And if you guys didn't see it, I had a video before, which is pretty much about getting your level up. Because if you don't play, you're not gonna be able to find a party. Since you look at some of the required levels for doing floor 4, this one wants 22. We look a bit more, so we can find another floor 4. I think we can we can change the thing, but might as well just look a bit. Not too many party finders up. But the one floor 4 was looking for level 22. So if you want to get in those top tier parties, you need to get a good level. So getting your level up is a really good way to go about it. So keep that in mind if you plan on playing dungeons to any kind of degree. So besides that, the Abyss, and this is just more so general equipment stuff in general. Way back when the end came out, I had pretty much a process I went through to make sure I was prepared. And one of them was making sure I had every single talisman in the game. Because these things are permanent stat boosts to your character. Eventually, we'll be able to use all of them. As of right now, you cannot use the common ones, or all the common ones, if you have a full talisman bag, which is a bit unfortunate. But that just be how it is. They're kind of slow giving us updates. But this is something you should put your time into getting. It is worth every bit of coins, every bit of time you put into grinding them, whether it be, like the harp or the slayer ones. Just make sure you go pick these up for your class or just for yourself in general. Because once you get them, you don't have to worry about getting them anymore. And they'll make a big difference to your character's strength. Besides that, the other permanent stat boost, which you guys already know, I'm kind of just going through the whole standard checklist of what you should have kind of be ready going forward, because you want to have your character being as strong as you can going to any kind of update. Because if you're not strong, you won't be able to succeed. And if you can't succeed in the update, you won't be making as many coins as you should, which is the main thing you probably want to go for, especially with a new update. If you're not making coins, what's the point of even, grinding that hard? So mainly, you guys probably know what are the good skills. If you don't, I will quickly, go over them for you guys. So pretty much the top 2 skills to get are foraging, alchemy, and I believe it is just those 2 for now. Oh, and combat. Of course, combat. How could I forget about combat? I've had a 50 so long, I even forget about it. Also, I don't even have my foraging max, so I need to do that. I need to get 20 more strength. That's a lot of strength. My point is, these 3 skills, really useful. This buffs your potion duration. This buffs your strength, which strength is one of the key stats in the game, since your equipment doesn't always give much strength. but they do awful lot of crit damage, and you need a good amount of crit damage with strength to do optimal damage. And you guys know what combat does. Gives you percent bonus damage and base crit chance, so it's a very good skill, and definitely one of the first 50s you want to try to work on. So, grind 4-4, do something like that. Or do Slayers, whatever flows your boat. But this is something you need to do. That's essentially, combat is a key part of the game, and will stay that way. So you get this max, you need the most damage, especially if there's going to be any kind of more competitive stuff like Ender Dragons. But yeah. So besides that, there is fishing. Now, the Abyss update, or whatever the thing Minikloon leaked, which was the fishing enchant, which I mentioned earlier on, involves fishing. And if you guys don't know how fishing works, essentially, you fish sea creatures, which is, to me, this was a really cool update. You like work your way up the levels. At the time, I was somewhere on this level, to get all these interesting mobs, play fish mob, working your way to getting emperors. Really cool experience, if you ask me. Right? Like, hey, I need level 20 or 18 fishing to get this thing. I need level 20 or 19 to get this. 20 to get an emperor. And it was just a really interesting experience. So if they haven't had more mobs, great. But be noted that you're going to need a fishing level somewhere between, 20 and 30 probably. Since Emperor ends here, they might add a few, in between. But with Yeti kind of being the level 25 mob, they might just give you 25 to 30 if they did more, a fishing update. If they visited something completely different, which is something I talked about before too, where it's like maybe like the end, that would be really cool. But that's more like me just being like, oh, that would be so cool, please do this. Because, I just like seeing the kind of content that I am familiar with. But hey, everyone likes their own kind of stuff. So what else can you really do? There's also, your base equipment, which this is kind of the last thing I'd be worrying about, since this one is very coin dependent. It really depends on what state you are in the game. Same thing with your bets. You really want to pick up the best of the best that you can with your current bank value. Like, if you don't have any coins, you're going to have to cut costs. Like, you won't be able to use like an Ender Dragon pet, for example. You'll have to use something like a Tiger pet. You won't be able to use Superior. You have to use Strong Armor or something like that. There is affordable replacements that are just slightly worse. But mainly, you just want to build up your character's stats in these other ways I mentioned before, since those are permanent boosts and they will always follow your character. Because armor is not permanent. There could become like a new update tomorrow, and Superior is just worthless now. And then I just wasted all my coins. So that is why it's better to invest your time and resources into skills and stuff like talismans, because they will not end up biting you in the back. Because if you go waste your coins on this like fancy Superior set, it could just become useless the next day. But do I recommend buying it? I would say yeah. If you got the coins, go for it. If you don't, maybe go for something cheaper like the Skeletor set. It's decent when maxed out, or some of the other drag armors. And then for a weapon, right now I'm using an OTD, but if you don't have a dragon pet, maybe get a Midas. Midas is really good, especially if you get it gilded, but the price tag is really high, so everyone would default to an aspect of the dragons. Now, you don't need a lot of damage. If there's no leaderboard type mechanics, the difference between a Midas and an OTD is pretty big, especially price-wise. So keep that in mind if you don't have many coins. You want to grind coins anyway, so trying to keep your build down to a low amount is a really good idea. Since an OTD is like 3 mil, Midas 50 mil, that's excluding max enchanting it. So once you do that, it's going to be like 70 mil versus 20 mil. Kind of a no-brainer if you ask me, especially if you have low gold income, since it's really hard to make money in the game currently. But once an update hits, if you're ready, you will make a lot of coins. AKA, that's how way back when I started. When the end came out, I made a lot of money. But that's, a topic for another video. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really want to say. There's other stuff like, fishing rods, but it's pretty basic. It's mainly, you gotta get your equipment ready, but focus, as I mentioned, like I'm repeating myself at this point, but focus on the core of your character. Stuff that you will never replace, that can never be replaced, because that will make your character the strongest. Especially when it comes to using coins, which Coins are really big, and no one has an infinite supply of them no matter what. They could release an update where it's like, hey, you need like 8 bill to do this. And everyone's just like, well, how do I get all that money? I don't know. It'd be like the end of the world. Except for dupers or something, but eh. Well, anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there. If you guys watch this all the way through, you're awesome. And if you're new, maybe think about dropping a sub. We stream on the daily and upload every couple of days, so perhaps support the channel. Maybe think about dropping a sub. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys next time, hopefully in an update. Take care, guys. Bye.